All right, that's enough of those times. We did it a few. We usually do it more, but there we are. What's up, buddy?
Oh, another day in paradise, my friend. Another day in
Oh,
paradise.
that's.
How about that weather?
I mean, we're home from school. Man, I had to drive my wife to the airport last night.
Oh,
It's no, because her flight was today. She already left Kansas City. She made it safely to Nashville, and then she catches a connector into Cincinnati. She got a big business meeting, big client,
excellent. Good
and
luck with
she's
that.
very excited about it.
Well,
So
good
that's
luck
good.
to you, Roxy, out there.
It's
Hope you
it,
have. Hope it does the best for you.
it should be. It should be by almost like in the bag. Like it's almost like they're going to just kind of you know
Cross the T's,
put,
dot the I's.
put
Put
the
a little
bow
hearts
on it.
over it.
Yeah, do a little training, kind of get a
Wrap a
good
little bow up.
get a good feeling for what's going on at the at their new client, so that they can be real responsive. They're accountants. That's what they do. But so yeah, so in preparation for going, because she was going to be at the, leaving this morning, we didn't want to drive through this weather from where I am, which is like an hour away from the airport,
Yeah.
right? So we got her a nice little hotel room. I took her up there last night, dropped her off, and she picks up the shuttle from the hotel, takes it to the airport, gets there in time, all done up. Then she gets in line, she's ready to board, and then they had to put the whole boarding on hold. You know why? Because the fucking flight crew booked their
Like,
hotel rooms in downtown. There's a hotel
oh.
3 minutes from the airport. It's a Marriott. We stayed there a couple weeks ago when it was all nasty because my wife had to travel.
Well, here's the thing. What you would think when you know coming into a city that has a weather. I mean, we knew this weather was coming. There has to be rules about them being within a certain range,
You
isn't
would
there?
think the only thing that me and the wife rationalized is that there was some sort of prearranged contract with the downtown hotel, whatever hotel they were staying at. So like they had some agreement, with between hotel and airline for the pilots to stay there. So that's where they stay. And I was like, that's just a dumbass idea. You have there's like 6 hotels like right there by the airport. They're all fine. I mean, I'm sure it's a nicer hotel downtown. I'm
Oh, I'm
sure of
sure,
that.
but
But like, damn. So, anyways, wife got out. We're snowed in. School's canceled. The boy's upstairs working. He's been sick for the last 2 days, 2.5
oh,
days.
it's been going around.
He,
When they here, just like in the last week or so, my kids are saying like the attendance was at 50%
oh,
in
nice.
school because of how many people were sick.
Yeah, it's like the longer I've homeschooled, it's like the less I understand why parents want to send their kids to those places. It makes less and less sense to me. I mean, I understand because I was there. I do have one kid who did go K through 12, all
Yeah.
public school. So I get it, right? I get all of it. Um, but like the further I get away from it, the less I understand why it makes sense. That you see what I'm saying? It's like I remember why
I
I
see
did it.
your point. But on the flip side of it, as we've talked about, involvement is a lot.
Well, but
Being
there's
involved
and
as
that
a
used to
parent.
be yeah, but involvement's oh, you mean as a parent? I thought you meant like social interactions for the kids.
No, 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 no. There's so much where, I mean,
I was
and
gonna say, yeah,
maybe
that's
it's
not a
just because of me and my background, but like, there's been a lot of times where my son and his friends have figured out stuff in school because they've called me.
right. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, yeah, parental involvement's important, but the problem is a lot of the only parents that are left at the public schools are not the good parents that are doing a good job. That's not entirely true.
Well,
But my meaning is that the public school says I consider myself a good parent. I'm actively engaged and have always been actively engaged in my kids and getting a good education, right? And instead of embracing me as a parent in the school districts have chased me off. And teachers and administrators, when I talk about the problems of the school district, instead of, looking at me as an outsider who's concerned and would like to make things better, they look at me as an enemy and, "Oh, he's one of those parents." And
Yeah.
instead of it's like, "Okay, fine. Piss off. I'll go do," I don't need your public school system to get an education, and there are so many better options and so many better ways to do it now in today's world. It's like, we'll get there. It's fine. The more school choice bills pass, the more voucher programs pass, the better things will get. People will start to figure it out and they'll be like, "Oh, this is better." I mean, you're almost done. You're almost to the finish line. What do you got? A kid in 7th grade, 8th grade? That's your youngest?
No.
Oh shit.
I've got my oldest will graduate next year,
Right.
and then his sister will graduate the year after that.
Okay.
And then once that happens, so when my oldest girl, because I've got 3 girls, when my oldest girl is a senior, my middle girl will be a freshman.
Okay.
When my middle girl is a senior, my youngest will be a freshman.
Okay, so they're all split by 4 years. 3.5.
After once the girls, because it's my oldest is my boy. Him and his sister are 18 months apart. The
Right,
two
right,
oldest
right.
are that close. And then after that, it's like 4 years.
Yeah. That's about the distance between Paige and Brittany for my daughters.
Yeah.
They're about that distance apart. Interesting. So yeah, you got a little ways to go. I got one. He's one left. He's 7th grade this year. 7th grade this year. Yeah, he's 7th grade this year, 8th grade next year.
Every one of my kids are giving me a different experience with what their schooling is.
My
son has been all sports focused.
Right.
He's all athletics as far as what his extracurriculars are. So it's always being the sport parent. My oldest daughter, she's in FCCLA, and she, huh?
I don't even know what the hell that is. I mean, I get what it is. It's like FBLA, but I don't know what all the letters mean.
It's family, career, and community leaders and technical. It's and leaders of tomorrow.
Okay.
Leaders of America. It's, and I know some people, if they hear this and everything, but a lot of it kind of comes across to me from what she tells me and what she does as kind of like home ec on steroids. They do, like, she does. She likes to bake, so
right.
she's learning all this baking stuff and that kind of stuff as part of this organization.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's what she's into.
Yeah, I mean, every kid's gonna be into different stuff. Every kid. I'm just talking about how long we have, so we don't have to have kids in school anymore. So when your youngest one graduates, how old are you gonna be? Jesus Christ, you're gonna be like gearing. I mean, you're already. I mean, we already know you're on Social Security, but I mean, like, are you gonna be like gearing up for retirement Social Security at that point?
No, I'll only be 57.
Oh, 57. Okay, that's not too bad. I'll be.
I'll
be 52.
It sounds like a long time.
Yeah, it sounds like
it's only 8 years. My youngest is in 4th grade this year.
No, it's 10 years. We're 40. I haven't turned 48 yet. If you're gonna be 57, you're the same age as me. Actually, you're a little younger than me.
It'll be 8 years, so I'll be 55.
Okay, because mine will be done when I'm 52. And see,
my youngest is in 4th grade right now.
My youngest is in 7th. So, yeah. Does that make sense? Now the math works.
EJ and my middle daughter Lucy are the same age. They're both in 7th grade.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
she's my band student. she's in demand, and she wants to get into FFA because she's gotten into raising cattle and doing the whole farm
No.
thing out here and wants to pursue that. So,
Well, if she wants to be rich, that would be a good way to do it.
no, I told her, I'm
My
like,
boy wants to be a mechanic. It's funny because we do comp baseball, right?
yeah,
Pretty much everybody who's doing comp baseball, they do it because they their kid likes it, but the idea being that we're going to get them to a level that they can go play college baseball,
yeah.
right? And we're on that path. And it's funny because coaches keep coming up to EJ and they're like, "So you're gonna play college baseball?" And EJ looks at him, he's like, I don't really want to go to college. I'm gonna be a mechanic. And I'm like, go, dude, be a mechanic, dude. You'll be like one of 100,000 people in your generation that knows how to do shit with his hands.
Yep.
You'll be invaluable.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's gonna make so much
that
money.
is very true. Actually, my bonus son that stopped by here dropped off the Nintendo. When he gets done with high school, he's already made plans. He's going down to Oklahoma and he's going to that diesel mechanic school down there.
Oh, nice.
Tulsa.
Yeah. Yeah, so EJ will probably do something like that. I don't know that he knows what kind of mechanic he wants to be yet, because we've talked to him. It's like, I mean, yeah, you can work on cars, but at the same time,
if you learn and can specialize on the big dog stuff,
exactly. I was like, you'll make more if you're
start writing paychecks.
Yeah, you'll make a lot more if you're a jet pilot mechanic or a helicopter mechanic or big diesel mechanic.
Well, even honestly, it's something that I've always advocated for, even though it wasn't something that I could personally have done, and it just my personality didn't fit. But military, get into that and get into a mechanic program. What you learn from that after 4 years translates into so much more money in the real world.
Not to drift into territory that we don't really want to drift into.
Yeah,
but up until January 20th, I would have been like, no, I don't want my kid anywhere near that mess.
I can see why.
And since then, I might have a little different opinion of that, but I need to see the changes continue to be pressed through before I'm going to be okay with that. But I find it to be a much more favorable direction at this point in time, and something I'm open-minded to reconsider.
I'm simply talking about what you can learn skill-wise.
Well, I think it would have been great for me. I really like, as opposed to the path I took going to college and stuff.
Yeah,
I would I mean, other than the fact that I met like the most wonderful woman, love of my life, and we're married now and have a beautiful family. Assuming that I would be able to have those things and choose a different path and go military, that would have served me well. I know it would have.
It served a lot of our friends well. I know that for a fact.
And it served a number of my friends not well. I know that too.
That is safe to say as well.
And I don't know a single one of them, even though it doesn't seem to have necessarily served them well, that regrets their decision. So, for what it's worth, and now that we have like real military leaders in charge, I would be a little more interested in that being an option for my boy. So, what else? Well, that had nothing to do with
anything.
What I put down is what we were going to talk about today, but that's why I like doing the show this way, because I like having conversations. I don't necessarily
one thing I know that's big for you. To the life of me, I don't understand why anymore. I just it's worse than watching paint dry. But baseball.
Yes.
And an unpopular opinion. I know, unpopular opinion. I'm just not a fan of baseball anymore. I haven't been in years. There's nothing to me that's compelling.
I think they've.
I
get that. I get it. I had a lot of problems with the way baseball was being played. I think the rule changes, even though I hate the rule changes that they made in the last year or so, I hate most of them. And for good reason, because I think there was other ways to get the desired results. But it has made the game more exciting. They are doing more things like stealing bases, and there's more action in the actual game. But whatever. I mean, believe me, I get why people are out on baseball.
I don't know,
get
just
it.
somewhere along the lines, like for me, it just the sport that we grew up watching and playing just morphed into something that wasn't recognizable anymore.
Oh no, that definitely became the case because they basically started playing to the 3 true results. And that, I mean, it all came down from the statistical analysis that got started at the end of the 90s.
Yeah.
And when that happened, teams started playing for the 3 true results: strikeout, walk, home run. Well, guess what that means? That means no base running, no base stealing, no
no game.
Yeah, none of the other stuff that happens. It was, I mean, like the entire mode of the game was a bloop and a blast, right? You get a bloop, then you get a blast. Now you got 2 runs, right? And now you just you throw everybody out of the bullpen that can just strike a guy out, right? And so
I miss the days when again, nostalgia, but the days of Ricky Henderson on first, going against the pitcher, and the battle of will he, won't he, can he hold him?
So to that end, though, right? So a couple of things that they changed, or a rule change that they made that I like, because I like to start off with, like, I don't hate all of the rule changes, but one of the rule changes that I like is that they can no longer do the specialist reliever. Right? They can no longer bring in the lefty to just face the left-handed batter, strike him out, and then change pitchers again.
That's good, because but that was an offshoot of that
the whole methodology
Moneyball thing.
Yeah, exactly. And so now each pitcher either has to finish the inning or face 3 batters. And I'm good with that. I think that's
I can understand that. That's a good rule. I like that.
Now, what I hate is they made the bases bigger. And most people, and so since they've made the bases bigger, the base stealing has gone up. There's 2 things that have made the base stealing go up, but one of them is the bases being bigger. You know what that means?
You have more area to slide into.
No, well, yes, it has that, but it also means the distance between the bases just got shorter.
Yeah.
Right? Not by a lot, but enough.
When you're measuring reaction times in fractions of seconds.
Exactly.
And 60 feet is not a long distance to begin with.
90
feet, sorry.
60 softball.
90 feet, 90 feet is not that long of a space.
No. I mean, they're getting down there in 2 seconds or less.
Well, converted to what most people think about, 90 feet is only 3 yards.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And, you think about how quick a 3-yard run is in baseball or in football.
No, it's 30 yards. 90 feet is 30 yards. It's short of a 40-yard dash.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, a 40-yard dash. I think the fastest baseball players get down in about 2-1, 2-2. And like Bobby Witt Jr. probably makes it from home to first on a single. He probably and he's on the right side of the plate. So he probably gets down to first between 2.75 and 2.5. Something like that would be my guess. I guess it could be 3, but because you think 40-yard dashes, they're running those. Xavier Worthy set the record at like 4.21 or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's an extra 10 yards on top of the baseball path. So I'm thinking that extra 10 yards is at least trimming off 2 seconds, a second and a half, something like that.
I don't know.
From the fastest to the fastest, second and a half probably would be my guess. Just because of reduced time. Because I guarantee you Xavier Worthy's faster than Bobby Witt Jr. But
I am not ashamed to admit that I can't even make a comparison because
Bobby Witt Jr.
I know the name.
Yeah, well, see, there you go.
And that's the extent of it.
There you go. But Bobby Witt Jr. is like the fastest player in baseball. Like, yeah. So I mean, take the fastest player in baseball, the fastest guy in the NFL.
Is he faster than that one that always pops up? That that steals all the bases.
Oh, you talking about the old guy that the Royals used to have, Terrence
No,
Steele?
no, 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 no. He's not
Oh,
a
he's not that
royal.
fast. Stealing all the bases. Acuna.
His name's like Eli or something, or Ellie.
Oh, Ellie de la Cruz.
Yeah.
Is he faster than Ellie? Probably.
Okay, because his name is the only one. Like I hear his name always pop up for
Ellie's
these
badass.
crazy stolen base, stolen bases and stuff.
Yeah, no, Ellie's a badass, no doubt about it. Especially stealing bases. Ellie's really long too, so it gives him a little bit of an advantage to get that lean on the slide. But I forgot where we're going. Suddenly talking about speed on baseball. The rule changes. And then the other rule change that lets them steal bases more often is they only allow the pitcher to throw over 3 times. How fucking dumb is that? It's the dumbest thing ever.
Well,
I mean, I know you don't play baseball or you don't watch baseball anymore, but you played baseball. We played baseball for many, many years together.
Oh, yes.
You know, these are dumb rules.
Well, doesn't that rule tie? Do they still have the stupid pitch clock thing?
Yes, I hate that one too. That's awful.
So I think that all ties in together with them wanting to make baseball a faster game.
And the problem with baseball wasn't, I mean, yes, they had some games that were ridiculously long, right? But the problem with baseball was never that the games took too long. The problem was that the games were fucking boring because nothing was happening on the field.
Yeah,
like we discussed before, it was a strikeout, a walk, or a home run.
Statistical games. Well, it does actually make the game longer because when you bring as somebody who when we growing up, I was a pitcher.
You bring a reliever in
even if he's been in the bullpen warming up, he still gets to come out to the mound and have his warm up pitches.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean all of those.
Then when he's done, the next pitcher gets to come in and do the same damn thing.
But my point is, right, no, and all those things led to the length of the game getting longer and the product being boring on the field.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, I bet if you just did the relief pitcher rule, I bet you shorten games by a half an hour on average, and I bet the game improves.
I don't like the fact they took away the shift.
I think that's dumb too, because you know what? All they needed to do was bunt.
Learn to hit. Learn the mechanics of playing baseball.
Even if you don't become a, because like, look, some players, players are players, and it doesn't mean they're not valuable because they're not good at hitting the ball the other way, right? That's some players, right? Okay, I can accept that a guy like Mike Moustakas does not excel at slapping the ball the other way in his general swing, right? Nothing's preventing him from laying down a bunt up the third baseline.
Yeah.
Nothing. And you do that 3 or 4 times, and they'll stop fucking shifting on you. I mean, it's really that simple.
It's the gamesmanship of the game that I like to go back and watch like the you'll see like documentaries of the older baseball players, like the one on Greg Maddux, watching the stuff behind the scenes stuff of how he did his stuff was just mind bending.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, look, a lot of that statistical analysis also found out that doing a lot of that stuff was counterproductive to winning. And you, as a person who wants to win baseball games, I have to be understanding of that, right? Now, there has to be a way of being able to take that knowledge, right, of some, like stealing bases. Technically, if you're not at least 75% successful at stealing a base,
you shouldn't do it.
You shouldn't do it because the out's more valuable. You see?
Yeah.
And that's what's led to a decline, but at the same time, if you're going to be more inclined to get rolled up in a double play, don't you think you got to try to steal the base?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I think a lot of it is that the choices that were made from the information that they got from all the statistical analysis, don't think they made the right choices, the right strategic choice. I mean, it might have been the right choice for this team because their personnel made it work that way for them, but it doesn't mean it was the right choice for every team.
Yeah. Excuse me. I'm gonna get something to drink real quick. Eric.
Yeah, go for it. So that's just my bitch about the rules. That's kind of stupid. And they shouldn't. The pitch clock's dumb. The pitch clock's dumb. And here's why the pitch clock's dumb. Because the umpires have always, and I mean always, 100+ years, always have had the authority
To make a pitch
to make them throw or make them get in the batter's box and hit.
Yeah.
They have always had the ability to control pace of play. Always. Get in the box, batter. Don't step out of the box. You got to keep one foot in the box the entire time. You can make that rule as an umpire.
Yeah.
People are dilly-dallying around. I mean, totally. Before they couldn't tell the ump or the manager that he couldn't sub out a pitcher, right? So a manager could, before they made that rule change with relief pitchers, the manager could still come out and replace his pitcher every batter, which I'm glad they fixed that.
Yeah.
But there was no need for a pitch clock. And I think the pitch clock's been detrimental to all kinds of aspects of the game.
Well, I mean, from our limited, athletic exploits as youth, because neither one of us did it much past, high school, if then.
Yeah, but I was awesome. Weren't we all? Dude, there's nothing that was more revealing to me. Okay, sorry to take you completely off track of what you were about to say, but you're gonna love this story. So, I coach my kids coming up playing baseball and softball and everything. And when they got at their youngest levels, when they're playing t-ball, right? Like my son started playing t-ball at 4, right? My daughter started at 5. And when I started coaching them while they're doing this, it was like, my God, they suck. Like, I mean, I was never this bad.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm digging through some old boxes one day. And I find my first t-ball, like literally like my first t-ball team picture where you had the little circle of you up in the corner and then the team picture down below is all in cardboard.
Oh, yeah.
My very first one. And it had the year on it. And if I remember right, I was like 7. And I'm criticizing my kids for not being any good at t-ball because they were 4 and 5.
Yeah, you know what? I don't remember how old we started that.
I mean, it would have been first grade or so.
Yeah, probably right.
Maybe kindergarten. But we didn't do sports back then the way parents do sports today. And I'm even guilty of it. I'm not like throwing shade at anybody. We start them earlier. They're more active. They play more games. They do more practices. They do more training. I mean, dude, my kid goes through college level training for his baseball team.
Yeah.
That's the level of training he gets. That's no bullshit. I mean, he goes through, depending on, like right now he's doing more like high school level pitcher work.
Yeah.
Right. But like he's done a lot more catching work. So he does a higher level of catching lessons, and he's 12.
The thing is,
my dad was my catching coach until I got to high school.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it was.
Different times
they are changing. But, as a homeschool dad, I like it because it gives, basically, we've talked before about him being in homeschool. It's like, it's one of the things that you can do now as a parent and homeschool your kid that, you still have a circle of friends for your kid to be involved in, activities for him to do, people for him to be around and associate and become friends with.
Yeah. Planning and, but we're getting back to the whole pitch count thing. And you're going to understand it with time with EJ and stuff. The thing with the pitch count is it gets you out of your rhythm.
The pitch clock, yeah,
and rhythm as with anything, whether you're doing music or athletics or art, anything where you're there's a rhythm and a flow to it.
Right.
And when you get in that zone, to use as we always say, you get in the zone. Anything that breaks you out of it, it just
Well,
it interrupts and it detracts.
well, I mean, but that's just a matter of tempo. I mean, I'm not saying it's not detrimental to some pitchers, right? Who worked on a slower tempo, but there's plenty of pitchers that, their natural tempo falls right within the pitch clock.
Yeah.
And so it's really not that disruptive to them. At the end of the day, I just think we've done a disservice. I mean, when it comes to pitching in general, I think we've just done a disservice to pitchers in general, because the only thing that anybody gives a shit about is velocity and spin rate. And it's all max effort shit, and arms are exploding left and right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, do you realize they had more Tommy John injuries and surgeries? And I don't remember, this might have been last year or might have been the 2023 season, but they had more elbow Tommy John surgeries and injuries in one season than they had in the entire decade of the 90s.
I was going to say is that I don't ever remember that being anything that was ever talked about.
I mean, you knew it happened. There were certain pitchers it happened to.
Yeah.
That is like, oh man, that's awful that they had such a horrible arm injury. But hey, cool, look, they got a surgery and he can come back. But now they're just like, no, throw as hard as you can until your arm explodes, and we'll just stitch you up and send you back out there. And it's like, that does not seem, and because, going through the lessons that we go through at my son's, academy, they spend a lot of time trying to take care of arms.
Yeah.
Right. Arm care. I mean, they spend 30 minutes just warming their arms up before they even get to go into their workout. Right.
I don't remember any of that stuff growing up.
Right. We didn't do it.
No, the closest thing I ever got was, I remember in Little League, he was a high schooler because he was one of the umpires.
Right.
So remember, we had the high schoolers that umpired us in Little League.
Yeah.
He was a pitcher on the team, and because I remember he helped with the All-Star team that year, and his advice was, go to the pool the day after and just lightly swim, and that'll help your arm the next day. That was the recovery method that I used.
I mean, that's not too unreasonable.
No, but that was the closest I was ever given in anything for this is a recovery.
Yeah.
Warm up. We just warmed up, and my dad, like your dad was your catching coach. My dad was my pitching coach, and it was just, don't start throwing hard till the second or third inning.
Right. I mean, I didn't pitch, so I didn't have to do the arm care stuff. That wasn't really a big thing for me, right? I mean, it just wasn't. But at the end of the day, I guess my point is whatever they're doing,
yeah,
isn't working.
How did people like Nolan Ryan and Greg Maddux throw so many complete games, throw 100-pitch games, throw well into their 40s, and never have any significant injury?
Well, see, but I think Nolan Ryan, he's not the problem because he's the problem, but he's the problem. And in that, what I mean is, Nolan Ryan, strikeout king, right? We already talked about the, it being strikeout being one of the three true results or whatever. As the strikeout king, he's throwing all this gas. I mean, Nolan Ryan was one of the hardest throwers of his time, right? Yeah. Randy Johnson never, I think Randy Johnson had one arm injury early in his career and then never had arm problems again.
Yeah. But
right?
Greg Maddux never had an arm injury. But Smoltz never had an arm injury.
Well, but John Smoltz is a better example because John Smoltz threw gas. Greg Maddux didn't throw gas.
Yeah,
Greg Maddux,
that 92, 93 two-finger.
Greg Maddux, yeah, but that's just it. You don't have any effective pitchers in all of Major League Baseball anymore that are getting by with a 92 mile per hour fastball.
Yeah.
It does not happen. If you throw 92, you're cheese. You're goodbye. You don't even make it. You don't get past AAA with 92. If you're topping out 92, 94, nah, you're not a starting pitcher, and you're damn sure not a reliever.
Yeah, but the problem is that nobody anymore knows how to. You don't see anybody throw a 92 two seam that moves at all anymore. Nobody has.
Well, no. You're right. Nobody throws a 92 two seam that moves anymore. You know why? Because they throw that same two seam at 97, and that is no bullshit. Go look up Paul Skeens. Go see what that dude throws. And when you go look at a roll of Paul Skeens pitches, you're gonna be like, that's just fucking insane.
Yeah, but what's somebody like his shelf life? 5 years?
Well, I mean, you can't predict injury, right? You can't predict injury, but I mean, this dude's been a top level prospect for, I mean, he just made his debut, I think last year, maybe the summer before.
Well,
And this dude
I
is
asked that because it goes back to what you're talking
insane.
about, though. These guys that are coming in throwing that kind of gas, they're blowing out their elbows.
No, right, but they don't all, right? I mean,
No, but it is a significantly higher percentage than we ever saw.
That's because there's a lot less. That's because there's a lot less acceptance. I mean, like a guy like Jamie Moyer, who pitched until he was like 44, and he was only throwing 83 miles an hour. That guy doesn't even
do that
exist
knuckleball
anymore. He didn't even throw a knuckleball. Jamie Moyer didn't throw a knuckleball. No. Jamie Moyer
who
just.
Who am I thinking of that was like that? That was the knuckleballer.
There's a bunch of them. There's Charlie Huff. There's the Necro brothers. There was Tim Wakefield. Tim Wakefield was a great one.
Yeah,
for a long time for the
maybe it was Wakefield I was thinking of.
But at the end of the day, yeah, there's no knuckleballers in the bigs anymore either. None. Like currently, right now on major league rosters, I'm pretty sure there is not a single person who throws the knuckleball.
Well, I don't even know that you've got anybody that is throws like a knuckle curve anymore.
You get a few of those. You get a few of those. Yeah, you still get a few of those. Yeah, you get, matter of fact, they have a new pitch that they call the sweeper, which is kind of somewhere in between a slider and a curve. It's just a really breaking, curveball, but it goes more side to side. Swerve? Yeah, basically. Now they call it the sweeper. The sweeper. I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, Daytona 500's coming up. I don't know if you're into auto racing.
They
screwed up NASCAR so bad.
I'm not a NASCAR fan. Everybody in my family is. The one time I ever sat down and tried to watch a Daytona 500 was the 500 when Earnhardt passed away. So I'm like, yeah, fuck this. I'm not watching another one.
So it was your fault? You asshole. My wife is never going to forgive you. I want you to know that. Like, holy hell.
But yeah, the one time I get talked into sitting down and actually watching it, it was that one. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not watching this shit again.
No, dude, you should actually go to a race.
My dad goes up with his brother and brothers-in-law every year up to Kansas. Well, it doesn't interest me at all.
I get it. It doesn't. I get how it doesn't. I mean, it's But what I will tell you is, even the people I know who aren't interested in racing, if they go to a race, they're like, "Yeah, I'm still not a race fan, but that was pretty fucking cool."
I mean, if I'll watch racing randomly, but it's like I watch like the motorcycle stuff or the. I like stuff where it's a little more insane.
I like F1. I've watched a few F1 races here over the last year, and I'm kind of like that. That's pretty freaking cool.
The MotoGP, those guys are insane.
Yeah, those guys are insane too. So, and I got to make sure I get off here on time today because we got the business lunch. I don't know if you're sticking around for business roundtable.
Not today.
I have no idea who's hopping on or anything else, so it may just be me. But I've sent out I don't know, 10 invites or so. So we'll see who shows up. But anyway, no, I mean, I think everybody has some brand of racing that even if they don't follow it closely, they're like, yeah, that if I was going to follow racing closely, this would be my jam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some people like the off-road trucks, you know. Some people like the off-road trucks and outside. Some people like the off-road trucks on those inside, you know, stadium tours, you know. That's cool. Some people like the motocross. That's cool too. I dig those too. F1 though, I'm pretty sure I really want to go to the F1 in Vegas.
Like
That
the
that you
F1,
race that
like,
thing at
you watch like
midnight.
video footage of like the rate their drivers doing reaction training.
Oh,
Their hand-eye coordination and reaction speeds are just ridiculous.
Oh, I can. Yeah, yeah.
But you think, and you know that you don't usually think about drivers as being like premier athletes,
Right.
but when you start looking at these F1 drivers, what their bodies go through, these guys are seriously strong. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah. No, I mean, they're dealing with G forces. They're you know, they don't deal with G forces quite at the level of fighter pilots, but it's probably the next level.
um,
The next level down. Just
yeah, well, I mean, you think about it. You're in a car doing 200-mile-an-hour plus on these turns.
oh
The
yeah.
lateral G forces on your neck. I
Oh,
mean,
just ridiculous.
yeah.
Well, there's this commercial that went out, and I don't know what I was watching, but it was whatever I was watching. And it's got this Formula One driver, right? And he's all screaming through the track and stuff. And and then all of a sudden there's like and he like picks up his phone and he starts texting while he's driving his Formula One car, right? And then he wrecks, and it's like, you shouldn't text and drive, blah, 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 blah. By the way, you should not text and drive. Texting and driving is bad.
So
The only thing that's not quite as bad as texting and driving, but is still bad, is texting and live streaming, because I've been caught doing it a couple times myself, and then all of a sudden it's like everybody's like, "What is going on?" But point being, though, before I get to this, before you go to you, have you seen a steering wheel on an F1 on an F1 car?
Yes.
It's like a tablet. And there's all kinds of shit going on with all kinds of buttons for the guy who's driving the car to push to change the settings and communicate stuff back to the pit. And they're like, you should never text and drive. An F1 driver would never do that. They have a whole damn texting machine right in their steering wheel. What are you talking about?
So I was looking. We're talking about G forces.
Right.
Up to 6 Gs.
Holy shit. That's almost getting to blackout territory.
Yes.
Where is blackout territory?
Hold on.
I'll ask Google. When is blackout happen? Sorry. At what level does blackout happen on G forces on the human body? That's got to be the worst way to ask that question.
So what I found here, an untrained individual can black out between 4 and 6 Gs.
That's what I'm seeing too.
And
about 5 seconds.
Pilots with and I think F1 drivers actually have, I think, besides their suits being fire retardant, I think they actually are. I think they might actually be something similar to a G-force suit, like a jet pilot wears.
I'm sure it's probably close. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I have no doubt.
But you were talking about the steering wheel. I saw a video about an F1 driver about like how he drives really weird because their shifters are on the back of the controllers.
Yeah, they're paddles
or on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And they're talking about this one driver, he drives with his hand really weird when he starts, and it's like he does that because the distance to shift is so small. He puts his hand under the downshift lever so that he doesn't downshift when they're starting the race.
Do you know where the shifters used to be before they went to paddle shifters?
No. Was it between their legs?
Between their legs. Yep. Yeah.
Hey,
stop playing with yourself. Mom, I'm shifting. Sorry. That was completely inappropriate, but I'm a child. Sometimes it happens. All right. I think we've run down the whole list. We haven't even touched. All right. Well, I'm going to briefly touch. I'm going to bring this up here real quick because we were going to talk about airline etiquette.
We were talking about reaction times real quick before you get into the etiquette.
Yeah.
This is an average F1 driver. Average. Yeah. Their reaction time is 0.2 to 0.3 seconds.
Point what?
0.2 to 0.3 seconds. The average human is 0.7 to 0.8.
Holy shit. I say I'm impressed, but at the same time, like, I'm not saying I'm a NASCAR driver or anything like that, right? But simulators are pretty fucking close to being like legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not saying I'm that skilled, but I'm also saying I'm probably a little better than the average human, or at least I was at one point in time.
But again, and this is the average F1 driver. I wonder I bet the elites are even faster.
Oh, of course they are. They have to. I mean, that's where they make their bread, man.
I mean, I couldn't. I mean, I saw a quote here, and it said basically the breaks down. Said basically it means that an F1 driver has has launched off the starting line. Most of us are still wondering if it's okay to take our foot off the brake, and they're already gone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there comes a degree of trust in your equipment too. Right? You got to have confidence in your equipment that when you're making those turns and stuff, that like your equipment's going to make the turn when you tell it to make the turn and not break loose, slide out into the dust and flip, whatever.
But it's the ability though at that speed.
Oh, it's rare.
I mean, that's I think that's what makes those guys such an impressive driver, more so than NASCAR. Oh, because you're going at such higher rates of speed, and you're not just doing left-hand embankments. They're doing.
It's just different racing.
Yeah.
Because the way I look at NASCAR racing is much more akin to being on the interstate at rush hour. And it's not so much about making the turns. It's about finding the right lane to get through the traffic the best and get to the front.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so it's a different style of racing. So that, that's why I like, that's what I like about NASCAR. It doesn't mean that I think it's necessary. I'm still kind of I like the road courses because I like turning both directions. But, being able to get up to that level of speed in a crowd of cars is, because, Formula One gets, the line of cars gets so stretched out. Half the cars don't even have a chance at being in the winner's circle anyway. It's a different ball game.
Yeah. I think what's amazing with F1 though, and is that those cars that comes down to so much more of skill and setup. I think with the way with the way the courses are set up, and I think that's why you get the large disparity from start to finish. It becomes a skill thing because I think the cars are well equal.
On F1?
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually no. Actually, that's not true.
No,
not in F1. In F1, they have some of the most liberal car setup rules in all of motorsports.
Oh, I did not know that.
They are excited for their car team, their manufacturer teams to experiment and try new things, whether it's to improve fuel efficiency so their car can stay on the road longer, to increased horsepower. If somebody came out and was like, we're going to do an electric car because we figured out a way to charge it in 13 seconds on a pit stop, and it's going to go so much faster and have so much better hold because the weight of the electric batteries are going to keep it locked down on the, whatever. If they found out that that was the case and they were like, we're rolling an electric vehicle in F1 would be like, all right, we'll see how it goes.
The only problem with that is that it would, one of the appeals of F1 is similar to the appeal of NASCAR is the sound.
Well, not just the sound.
I don't know about the smell, but the sound
smell is awesome.
That's one of my favorite things about F1 is to hear the cars go by.
Oh yeah, dude. It's awesome. When that thunder roll comes through with as they're starting as they get that rolling start in NASCAR and they're starting to come to that start finish line and you hear them all of a sudden they start open up those throttles. It's like, yeah, buddy, it's time to fucking dance. Let's go. It's pretty cool.
Let's wrap it up on some airport etiquette.
Airport etiquette, so we can at least do one of the topics I mentioned in the description of the show. Good idea. So hold on, let me share what I'm looking at here real quick. You might not even realize it, but you're being an ass at the airport. Do you do much airporting there?
No.
When was the last time you were in an airport? Oh wait, this is the one.
Almost 10 years ago.
All right. Well, lucky you. I hate airports. Airports.
I put earbuds in and I ignored the world.
Well, hey, you, sir. I just want to go down here because I scanned the article a little bit, but you've already matched one of the rules. Look at you. Use headphones. Don't be an ass. Use headphones. Nobody wants to hear what you're listening to. If they wanted to hear it, they'd listen to it in their own headphones. So good job, Matt. Ahead of the class.
I don't want to interact with anybody when I'm there. I want to get to my destination as quick as humanly possible. So I'm going to shut out the world and just pretend that nobody's around me.
Okay, well then I need you to pay attention to this one. Okay, this rule right here. Be spatially aware. You can't completely shut out the world. You have to be spatially aware. Look, it's super busy around an airport, man.
I'm gonna find my place. I'm gonna find a place to sit, and I'm gonna park it, and I'm not gonna leave until it's time for me to leave.
Try not to invade people's personal space, dude.
Well, that's more for them to not invade my space than to invade theirs.
See this, etiquette is a two-way street. This is how we work this. All right, so we already covered that use headphones because nobody wants to listen to whatever crazy shit you're listening to. Don't dilly-dally in the security line. Okay, this has like awful meanings because it's the security line and they're like dilly-dally. Don't dally with my dilly. Like, stop. Just get through the goddamn line.
Yes.
Right. Take your shoes off.
You know what you're supposed to do before you get there. Have it be ready to go and get through as expediently as possible.
I plan my entire wardrobe around getting through the security line. Like I wear comfortable. I never people used to like put on a suit or a dress to go.
Oh no, my dress is because airplanes are uncomfortable as it is.
As it is, exactly.
So yeah, I'm gonna be in like some comfortable jeans, some comfy sneakers, a t-shirt.
You wear jeans? Fuck that, dude. I'm wearing sweats.
I don't wear sweats. I'm either in jeans or I'm in
that's your comfy pants, and so be it. But I'm in sweats, man. I'm in sweats. I'm in a comfortable t-shirt. I'm wearing a sloppy hat. Probably this Kansas City Royals hat or Kansas City Chiefs hat, depending on the season. And all my nice clothes are gonna be tucked in my suitcase because I'm gonna wear them when I'm ready to be at the place and go someplace nice. I'm not wearing that on the airplane. No way. I'll change when I get there. Fuck that.
Yep.
Get through the security line. But part of what I was saying about, dressing for the security line, I wear shoes that slip on and slip off.
Yep.
So I don't have to tie them, all that other stuff. Like, come on, people.
Oh, most of my shoes, my comfy tennis shoes, I love the Adidas anymore that have the that have they're the solid shoe, and the laces are just basically there to make them a little snugger.
Oh yeah, it looked like they're just the slip-on types.
Yep,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love those.
yeah. My son's got a pair of those. I'm a little jelly. I gotta admit,
They're
a
my
little
favorites.
jelly.
They're my
He really
favorite.
likes his. He really likes his. So I'm gonna have to look into that.
They're worth it.
All right. Okay. This is one of the things I hate about these types of articles. The dumb points.
Yeah.
Don't leave your luggage sitting around. Who the hell does this? Does anybody do this?
That reminds me of the old Carlin bit.
I was just going to say the same thing. I was just going to say the same thing. Have you been the only person to handle your luggage? No, I took it outside, left it on the corner for 24 hours. And I don't even remember how it goes, but I just remember it was hilarious. I'm like,
yeah,
it's the dumbest.
I don't think that's actually not that far off from the actual line.
I handed it off to some guy named Habib. Whatever it was, I was just like, oh my God, so funny. Don't leave your luggage sitting around. Nobody wants your undies. Like, just, I don't know. Well, that's not true. That's not true. There are people out there that want your undies. There was the guy who worked for the White House in like 2022, and he got arrested for stealing people's luggage. And he got found out that he was stealing people's luggage because
he was wearing a dress.
He was wearing a dress that somebody had, and they saw it on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's got to be one of the funniest stories. That's hilarious. Weird. Let's see here. Hey, be mindful about hygiene. No. Once again, another like are there a lot of people rolling around the airports that just did not have parents? Is that what happened here? I don't know. I don't know. Avoid smelly or messy food. So no fish, no liver and onions. No sloppy joes? I guess. Let's see if they have any suggestions. What? Overly stuffed sandwiches, burritos, chicken wings, juicy fruits. I don't think that means the gum. I think that like actually means fruit.
I think that is a little
anal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like uptight. Like, calm down. People like to eat food, man.
Yeah. It's like, no messy sandwiches. Oh, I guess I won't go to the Burger King that's inside the concourse.
Right? Yeah, no Whoppers. I mean, who doesn't like a Whopper? Some people, but whatever.
Are there quiet zones anymore in places like that?
I've not seen any, but it doesn't mean there aren't any. Yeah. I mean, look at me. I'm probably not the guy who's going to spend a lot of time in quiet zones.
No.
So, are there? Well, I don't know. But
although I don't think people are smart enough to read signs anymore anyway.
Well, that's true. This is also true. Try not to take up a bunch of space in the seating areas. And I know that can be a challenge at times. But you know,
you don't need to be the person who's got your bag on one seat, your coat on another, and your feet on two more.
Right. You could, I mean, if you need an extra seat to put some of your stuff, you know, you should be able to keep it all in like one extra seat. And
yeah, but you don't need to be carrying that much stuff onto the plane in the first place.
Oh, I agree. All right, man. Well, I made it as
your business roundtable.
Yep, I got to get to the business roundtable. People are starting to blow me up. I got to get her opened up and get her going. So we will reconvene tomorrow.
23 hours.
23 hours, buddy. You take it easy. We'll talk soon.
All right, take care, buddy.
Peace, bro.